Hi there, a very warm welcome back to the Voice of Boxing. And in episode 3, I had the pleasure of Mitchell Smith joining me in the studio. Mitchell, formerly a Young Boxer of the Year with the British Boxing Writers Club, massive talent, had difficulties and time out, but he's back. He's back boxing and in a really good place in life. You've got to listen to him. He's so inspirational. Having had those bad, difficult, rainy days, he's come through and he's looking fantastic. And he knows his boxing. Things we discussed, Cattrall Taylor 2 and the reflections, the wins of Chev Clark and also of Paddy Donovan. GBM show on Friday night last week. And also looking forward to the 5v5. Frank against Eddie, or is it Eddie against Frank? It's Matchroom against Queensberry, Queensberry against Matchroom. It's all happening in Saudi this Saturday, June the 1st. Dimitri Bivol as well on the bill. So many things this week to talk about on The Voice of Boxing, episode 3, in association with Loungers. Mitchell Smith joined me, and it was really revealing. Episode 3, The Voice of Boxing is back, and a really interesting and very special guest this week. A man you might not have seen very much over the past few years, but boy, can he fight. 31 now, Mitchell Smith. It's really, really good to catch up with you. You look healthy, you look well, there's a sparkle in your eye, and you're in a good place.
I am. Firstly, thank you for having me on, man. I feel privileged. I feel good. It's been a while since being around the boxing scene, but I'm excited to have a little bit of a chat with you over the next hour, and move on, sort of thing. Yeah.
Not only uber talented, Mitchell, but also you're a big fan of boxing, aren't you? You love it. It's always been part of your DNA.
Yeah, correct. Look, I think everyone knows as a professional boxer, most people live, eat, sleep it, and that's all. That's all I've done. And when I come away from actually fighting, I still enjoyed watching boxing and watching these young up and coming fighters coming through. Hence why eventually, when I do finish my fighting career, I will become a pro coach and teach some of these young fighters where and when they're going wrong and sort of guiding them in the right direction, should I say.
Yeah, the kids coming through. How old were you when you thought, I'm going to do this? I really want to be a boxer.
So my dream from the moment I walked into a boxing gym was I'm going to be a world champion. It was all I believed. It was even going through all my GCSEs, all my exams, etc. I wanted to be a pro boxer from the moment I walked in at 6 till. I mean, I still think I'll achieve a world championship, but look, I've always loved it, and I've like I said, I lived, slept, breathed, ate it, So yeah. And
very, very capable and talented as an amateur. Flashy, skillful, had some power. You had a bit of everything, didn't you?
I did, yeah. I still feel I have it all, so I don't want to talk sort of in past context because...
That's great to hear.
Because I still...
There's fire in your belly.
Yeah, there is, yeah, correct, yeah. I don't want to... I don't feel like I have nothing to offer. I still feel I can be in some really big fights, and although my face hasn't been about or spoken about for a long time, believe me now when I say it, my hands are still very dangerous, and I'm still an extremely dangerous fighter. If I can get it right and get myself to that British level, I think I can still win a British title.
Yeah, 31 now, 16-1, a pro career which has been stop and start, of course. Let's just go with where we are in 2024. You're fighting in a few weeks' time. You've got yourself in incredible shape again and ready to go. What do you need? Momentum, fights, and an opportunity.
Yeah, so my journey started again in December of 2023 after having a motorbike crash back in 2022, if I'm right. And I was 98 kilos, and I decided, right, I've got a steady job in payroll solutions in Omnia outsourcing. That's a plug.
Your day job.
Yeah, which
and
is
it's
my
tough
day
being a day job and a fighter, of course.
And you know what? I'm blessed that my director, Jay Pitaway, has given me an opportunity to proceed being a professional boxer, if that's the correct word. If it's not, I've tried and wing it. No, look, he's given me an opportunity to be able to train and work. And I decided, like I said, when I was heavy back in December, that I was going to give it a go. So I decided to get back in the gym, knuckle down, try and get it right. I quit alcohol back in October 2023. I'm almost 7 months sober.
Well done.
Which is, as every addict knows, that's a massive achievement. So I decided to come back, train, and now I've got myself into some form of condition, should I say. We've started sparring. My hands are still good. I'm still firing, and we got ourselves a fight date, and it's July the 27th. It's under my manager, Mo Pryor. And I think let's get some momentum flowing. Let's have a 4-rounder there. I've got another date in September that I'm going to fight, and I've got another date in December. So I've got 3 outings this year. If I can find some momentum, maybe a couple of 6-rounders after this 4-rounder, then 2025 may open up some doors, because as everyone knows, I was never too quiet as a pro, so I will be calling those boys with titles as and when I need. But
That's
for
what
now,
got you on here, because you love a chat.
but for now, it's about maintaining consistency, staying in shape, and enjoying what I'm doing.
Love what I'm hearing, and the maturity in you, Mitchell, compared to, I sat next to you at the Boxing Writers Club dinner. We think it was back in 2015. You were 22 years of age, at the prestigious Young Boxer of the Year, and that was the one everyone wanted to win, and so many became world champions from it, the likes of Nassim Hamid, Ricky Hatton, etc. So much pressure, I guess, on you there to become that world champion, to become that famous fighter. What happened then?
My honest opinion, Adam, I think I was never mature enough. I think realistically, it was never going to happen anyway. I mean, I had the talent for it to happen, for sure. I was never grown up enough, man. I didn't understand nothing about managing money, what was going to come as I was hitting highs, the sort of people that I was going to have around me, even to like people warning you about the drink and the drugs, this is what's going to start happening. You're going to get out, you're going to start partying, you're going to start socializing. These are the things you need to stay around. I was kind of left to do it all on my own. And by the time people started to try and rein it all in, it was far too late. I was spiraled out of control. And believe me, I had some great times. Believe me, but a lot wasted. And I was never mature enough to be a world champion. So it is what it is. I mean, I think everything happens for a reason. And just because I might not hit a world title as an active professional boxer doesn't mean to say that I won't win a world title as a coach, because I've been around some fantastic people through my career, and I still will meet fantastic people, and I've learned an awful lot in boxing, and I think I deserve the credit when I do eventually go on and become a coach. Obviously performances will show, but I feel that I've got a decent resume to start off a coaching career already based on what I have.
But there's still a dream.
There's still a dream, of course there is. I mean, I am almost certain I will hand my dad a British title at some point. And the reason why I say my dad is because he got me involved in boxing, and I was only having this discussion actually about 3 days ago. I was listening to a song called Simply the Best, Tina Turner, Chris Eubank. And I was listening to it in the car, and my dad used to play it to us when we used to do our footwork drills as kids. I'm talking 7, 8, 9 years of age. And he's in his eyes, I can still picture it now. He believed in me. He 100% believed in me. I was going to be a world champion. There was no doubt in his mind that kid's going to be special. Unfortunately, I took the path I did, but I'm almost certain that when I hand him that British title over the next 2 or 3 years, it will almost feel like a world champion. It will almost feel like a world championship for him.
That wonderful Lonsdale belt.
Yeah. That's my world title now. That's my world title. I'm almost certain I will win it.
It's great. It's great to hear you talk like this, Mitchell. I mean, it's talent and dedication, isn't it, that makes fighters. We talk about the great fighters like Floyd Mayweather, super, uber talented, but he was always the fittest. He was always in shape, the most dedication. I'm thinking of great fighters like Frankie Gavin, Joe Selkirk from Liverpool, others that have so much talent. Mitchell Smith, another of them, have the talent, but without that dedication, or if something goes wrong, it's impossible, right? You've got to have both.
Yeah.
And those that are dedicated, that maybe don't quite have the talent, can achieve those world title dreams because they knuckle down.
Yeah, there's a lot more to it than just having talent. You got to work hard. And also, I also think it's important to have the right type of people around you, making the gym almost like a family. Because every time I went into the gym at the start of my career, it was like a chore. It was like I didn't really want to be there. It wasn't enjoyable. I just got in there because I needed to work that hard to be able to get to the fight, because that's how I was being paid. That was
The passion wasn't there.
Not really. I never really boxed for passion towards to start of the pro maybe, but towards the back end it weren't really there. I just think what my point is if it was more enjoyable from the start, then it wouldn't have felt so much like a job. And when it started feeling more like a job, I lacked dedication. I don't know why. Maybe that sounds a bit weird, but I kind of just weren't in it as much as what I used to be. And it was like, right, I'm only in it for money. I'll just train hard for the money. And it all just doesn't work properly. You kind of need to love it. You need to love boxing to be able to succeed in it. I don't think it's one of those like everyone has their 9 to 5 jobs and all right, they might not enjoy it. You hear most people not enjoying it, but with boxing, I think because it's so hard, because it's so difficult, and because of the type of people you're around, you're around different types of characters. I just feel that you've got to have that love and that passion involved, and I think I lacked it. I think I lacked it for a lot of my early days.
Because you've got to be so invested, haven't you?
I just knew I was good, and that was all I relied on, really.
And also, I think as well, fighters, it's such a tough life. Sport is dedicated and being all in, but actually being a boxer is different. I don't know whether you can compare it to the army, whether you can compare it to almost like institutionalized to be that good all the time. And of course, physical health and mental well-being. And what are you going to do afterwards? Because everybody dreams of being that world champion, but you get to a certain point, and if you don't quite make that, if you haven't got a backup plan, and if there's not good people around you, what are you going to do for the rest of your life? I mean, that's an area that I think is really crucial.
Well, I think that's a big part of what you was just saying about your mental health, because you've got to remember these are questions that we ask ourselves as professionals. What are we going to do if this does go wrong? And straight away you're battling demons in your head. Now demons are nothing but mental, like a mental block, which is basically your mental health deteriorating. In my opinion, that's all demons are. It's just your mental health deteriorating. It's because you're questioning yourself. You're battling with yourself. So ultimately, like your mental stability as a professional needs to be on point. And I think this goes back to your coaches making it fun, making sure that these kids are firing in the gym, making sure that when they do come in and the weight of the world are on their shoulders, can I say, oh, what's up? What can I do to take this off you, man? Can I do anything? Can I help? And when I was younger, I don't, and I'm not digging out anyone I had around me as a professional. Everyone had their pros to add to my career. But I just feel that I was also could have been supported slightly better, maybe. I'm just looking back as an adult now that is kind of.
And you sound like an adult.
I'm at a lot more. I'm at peace. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm at peace now with what's gone on. And I just look back and thought and think I have myself to blame about a lot of it. And believe me, I've so many regrets. But I also feel that I could have been guided slightly better, and I feel that that's what I will offer to whoever's underneath me in the coming years.
I think that's fabulous to hear. I think you've got a lot to give back. You've got to look forwards. That's absolutely right.
Of course.
Live in the day. Live forwards and move and push yourself on. So what have you learned about the time that you've had out, about the difficulties that there were, the issues, the things that you've overcome? What have you learned about yourself as a human being?
I'm a bloody lunatic. In all seriousness, I've noticed I am an all or nothing type of person. If I'm in, I'm in, and if I'm out, I'm out. What I mean by that is just all aspects of life. Overcoming drink, overcoming drugs, they ruined a part of my career. They ruined me as a person in a way. I mean, I'm lucky to have come around it all, but.
And well done, and congratulations for that.
And thank you. What have I learned about myself? I've matured. Jesus, have I? I feel old nowadays.
5 kids.
5 kids, 5 fantastic kids. Oldest of 18, youngest of 5.
You love them? Good dad?
I love everything about them, man. They're all different in so many ways, good and bad. But
I've got 3 mad characters. Crazy. My 13-year-old. I mean, she had everyone round for a party last night, and it was it's mad. You got to enjoy it. You got to love them.
Yeah, it's your pride and joy, innit?
It's wonderful.
It's your pride and joy. So, what have I learned about myself, man? I've learned I've grown up, and I've learned what I actually really want. And I think out of it all, I wanted fame, I wanted money, I wanted this, I wanted that. I just want peace, man. I want peace, man. I think when you come to terms with that in your life, all I want is just to put my kids to smile and for me to smile at the end of the day. You know, there are little things that we want to cross off on the way, but ultimately happy, being at peace and being happy is the main thing in life, isn't it?
I can absolutely relate to that. And I've had my own battles in the last year and a half with cancer coming back and actually having a different perspective on life. And it's not chasing things. It's actually peace. It's serenity. It's waking up in the morning and feeling grateful for being there and seeing what's going to happen.
Well, this is the thing, you know, as you were just saying, you went through a really unfortunate time, and I'm so happy to see you here, you know, looking well and healthy. But when you're so close to what was almost the end, and now you've got sort of almost a second chance, if you like, you know, what actually matters most right now, like what you were chasing before, which is probably, you know, whatever you was chasing, I'm saying, I'm not going to go into it, but what actually matters now, well, now you've got your second time around, like you said earlier, you know, these are the most important things for me. When I do get to that time next time, this is what I want to have achieved. Does that make sense? So,
totally.
Good for you.
Totally. Peace of mind, serenity, absolutely love it. But there's a fighter in you. There is. And look at him go. I'm telling you, those who haven't seen Mitchell Smith, he was a phenomenal talent. And
hopefully I'll get to hopefully you can have a word with a big promoter for me. We'll get
I'm sure we can still see it. The ambition is there. What a time in boxing. We'll get onto that in a second, and all the issues, topics, so much to discuss, debate. Every week it's fantastic, the sport's in the spotlight. No better time than to re-enter it with this attitude. You've got a full-time job, you're settled, you're happy.
I have nothing to lose, that's for sure.
And nothing to lose.
That's for sure. Yeah, exactly that.
Before you had everything to lose.
I don't know.
That pressure.
Exactly that, man. I'm only here to enjoy it now, you know. I'm going to be the bogeyman of the British division. No, that's for real for me. I ain't got nothing to lose. All these young kids that are up and coming now, they've got their records to protect. They're in front of the spotlight already. I'm just an old mess that's now back involved, and let's see what happens, isn't it?
Who do you want? Who do you want? Which opponent?
Nah,
you want the British title?
I can't.
You just want the British title.
Oh, I'm gonna win a British title. So whoever's there and whoever I need to beat on the way, I'm not even gonna go into it. They all know. When I get to there, I'm gonna do super featherweight / lightweight, whatever I can get to.
Get to super feather, lightweight, doesn't matter. Whatever you feel good at.
Exactly that. Yeah.
I love that attitude. I mean, look, Tyson Fury. What he did and coming back from 24, 25 stone.
Correct.
When we saw him and promised that he'd not just get back into the ring, but he'd become a world champion and then some, to almost being the undisputed. And he'll have the chance to try that again later in the year. So that's inspiration. And it's a great story, and that's what your story can become, albeit at a different level, but it's for you, isn't it?
Exactly that. It doesn't matter at what scale it's at. To me, it's everything anyway. So, you know, and my closest, it's a dream for everyone else. You know, my closest people around me have noticed things over the past 6-8 months, and they're just like, "Look, you're doing great, man. Everything else is a bonus. You've already achieved what you wanted to achieve." Do you know what I mean? I just enjoy it, and just enjoy the road.
While we mentioned Tyson Fury, got to get Mitchell's take on the biggest fight that's happened in, 25 years. Oleksandr Usyk winning it, being crowned the king of the heavyweights, as he was king of the cruiserweights. Sure you enjoyed it. How did you score it?
I haven't been so excited about a fight in such a long time. In fact, when the fight was all said and done, I was like, oh, I've got to turn the telly off. I'm shattered. I was yawning before it because I was like, it's such a long day. I was so hyped. Fair result. I thought it was Fury's to throw away at 6. I thought he was up on the scorecards. Was in in control, relatively comfortable at the start as he was showboating. And then I don't know why he stopped throwing his right hand. He found success with his right uppercut. He found success with his right hand. Usyk buckled a couple of times. He stopped throwing it when he got caught with that overhand from Usyk in, was it round 6 with the was it round 6, the broken nose? But when did you see the nose break?
When the nose went.
So when the nose went, that was a huge turning point of the fight. That was game over for me. He stopped throwing punches. He sort of went into his shell a little bit. I don't know if Fury threw it away. I think Usyk performed out of his skin. But I don't know if Fury threw it away.
See, it's so subjective because I thought Oleksandr Usyk was brilliant in those opening rounds. I thought round 1, he cut the corners. He made Tyson Fury work, and Tyson showboated. And I think his pace and rhythm and his feet were just fantastic. Second was closer. Third, I thought, was Usyk. So 4-7 for me was Fury's. That was his territory, and I thought he ran round after round, and I thought he looked the size he was. He was huge. The uppercuts working. That right hand, he didn't keep throwing it. Yeah. And the jab, I thought, just was slightly taken away. I don't think he used it well enough, and maybe in the rematch, he'll get back behind that jab because Fury's got a phenomenal jab. Yeah, he has. But then Usyk came strong, and round 9, should it have been stopped?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. I think why did the ref, because I still don't know this now, why did the ref jump in?
The ropes held him up. He was given the count. The bell went a little bit later.
It's all a bit controversial, wasn't it?
A little controversial. Yeah. But at the end of the day,
I think he probably should have been stopped.
I think that's what pretty much everyone's saying. But the counterpart, I would say, is that he had a minute to recover. And people, I was watching it and with the TalkSport guys, and he had a minute to recover. And people were saying he's never going to recover. Tyson Fury came out and he fought really well those last 9 minutes. Okay, maybe Usyk again was in control, but Fury, his legs came back, and I loved to see the fact it was 12 rounds. Like you, I was shattered by the end of it. But absolutely loved to see Tyson Fury carry on the gladiator that he is.
Yes, exactly that, and that's what made it a good fight.
So probably it should have been stopped, but actually it went on and it was okay. He wasn't.
Probably a better result that it didn't get stopped.
If he was badly hurt and he was being chewed up in the 10th round, then maybe
correct,
the referee would have come under more criticism. But the fact is that he came back a little bit.
I'm looking forward to the rematch.
We can't wait for the rematch.
I think the rematch makes to be better. I think.
What do you think happens?
I'm a Gypsy King fan, so I'm gonna go. Fury comes back and chins him.
There you go.
There you go.
You've heard it first on the Voice of Boxing. Mitchell Smith, Fury by knockout in the rematch. We'll catch up with Mitchell later in the year and see if that has happened as he still fights, as he comes back to the ring. We can't wait for that. And what we couldn't wait for as well was last weekend. First of all, Friday night, GBM, cracking show at York Hall. Did you see a little bit of that?
I didn't. I haven't seen it.
Go back and have a look at that. It was absolutely brilliant. We had Tyson Gallagher winning the British and Commonwealth Super Bantamweight titles. We had a terrific main event with Lucas Bannigal upsetting Casey Benjamin, almost out on his feet. Casey Benjamin needed a knockout in the last round and very, very nearly got it in the 10th round, but just ran out of time. Lucas crowned on that occasion. We had a fantastic performance from Reza Ali. The whole of the York Hall was singing Ali, Ali. It was extraordinary. He had a terrific tear-up with Lennox Lithgow. Broken ribs, we think, at the end. A really, really tough knockout and a tough, difficult one to see at the time because Lennox was in agony and taken off to hospital, and all our attention was turned to him. So Reza's celebrations were slightly muted. Fortunately, Lennox made an absolutely terrific recovery. He was fine. He was okay just with the ribs. So thankfully, all right. But Reza Ali, what a performance. So some great stuff. Tommy Welsh won by knockout. Conor Bennett ringside. Atmosphere was unreal. And then Saturday, we went to Leeds. Leeds. Josh Warrington was watching this time. He wasn't fighting because it was the rematch that everybody in British boxing has been waiting for, as Josh Taylor and Jack Cattrall. Or is it Jack Cattrall and Josh Taylor? But the two of them entwine now. Surely a trilogy is on the cards. It was a very different fight. Different atmosphere. First one in Glasgow. Rather a strange, stylistically difficult fight, but one that pretty much everybody, bar Josh Taylor and a few others, felt Jack Cattrall won and won widely. It took 2 years for Eddie Hearn to whip them up again and get them back into the ring. What an atmosphere. What a fight second time around. Normally rematches aren't as good. This was much better. How did you see it, Mitchell? First of all, you must have You must have really enjoyed it.
Incredible fight. And the lads both lived up to what they were going to do and say. So credit to where credit's due. You know, it takes two to tango when you get in there, because sometimes you can have the other half, you know what I mean, not pulling their weight and making it a fight. So fair play to both lads. At the start, I always knew Jack would find the way. He's got an incredible style that was made to look even more, what's the word I'm going to use? Difficult to fight against, because his head movement and his timing and his distance is fantastic. And styles make fights. And I don't know if Josh was just struggling to just find the rhythm against him. You know, in the first fight, he struggled to just pin anything clean, and
he's very clever, Cattrall, isn't he?
He's like
foot, and his timing's beautiful, isn't it?
He is, man. All of a sudden he's at range, and he just does this little dip, and he's there. He's on you. It's close range, and he works inside very, very nice. He uses that long stiff arm. I thought Cattrall won by probably 3 or 4. It was same as I did the first time. Unfortunately, you know, I'm a fan of both lads.
Yep.
But you know, I have to be honest. Cattrall won the first one, and Cattrall won the second one.
No question, he won the first one. I believe he won the second one as well. I scored at 160 and 113. I thought he won majority of the. It was pretty much a fight of two halves. Josh Taylor came right back at him. My word, he didn't stop, and there wasn't a lot in some of the rounds, and the pressure came from Josh Taylor, and he had his moments. But for me, again, Jack Cattrall boxed really, really well,
very good.
and cleverly, and it was interesting afterwards with the scorecards, the 117, 111s, which I felt were too wide. Eddie got on camera and said, look, they were too wide, but the right man won. I think he made the right point. Bob Arum grabbed hold of the mic, and Bob, Hall of Famer, the legend, the man that is Bob Arum. Well, it was fascinating, wasn't it? And it was great when Eddie put the two of them up before the fight and then the two of them afterwards. He wasn't best pleased, Mr. Arum, was he?
No, he wasn't. He was. I don't know where he got the result from. Where he thought, did he think Josh won? Didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
And I think some did. I think some felt that it was close, or that Josh won. I feel that the first
I can maybe
fight,
see an argument for close.
The first fight to me was Jack Cattrall's, and I just didn't see how Josh Taylor won that first fight. The second fight, again, I scored it to Cattrall, this time by 3, but I can see it closer. A little bit like with the Usyk fight, I had it by Usyk by 3, but I can see why people had it a bit closer.
Draw rounds here
but Bob Arum saying that, you know, Josh won and they're an absolute disgrace, and he's never going to bring a fighter back, and all that sort of stuff. Emotions running high.
All I can put it down to is emotions run high. Emotions run high,
and that's what we love about the sport.
Yeah, exactly. And he probably doesn't have the best eyesight in the world. Let's be fair.
Well, he's into his 90s, and it's
amazing.
On a bit, it's amazing that he's still doing it.
It's great to see him ringside. It's fantastic that he's still in the game. But let's be fair. Let's be fair. You know, Cattrall won the fight.
It was
whether it was close or not. Cattrall won the fight. So to go around ranting that Josh won is a little bit crazy.
Totally agree with me, Mitchell. And I don't know if justice was done, because that's not really fair. Josh Taylor put absolutely everything into it. I just felt Cattrall that little bit ahead, and he was brilliant on the night. And hats off to Jamie and to Nigel and the team. They didn't get it last time. They didn't get it when it was the marbles, the world titles, but they got it this time in the rematch. And what I love too is that the respect, which always was there, has come up even more. And yes, you can have your Froch Groves dislike, and that's what everyone hooked into. A little bit of pantomime, the good guy, the bad guy, the controversy, all of those sort of things. But they're both great fighters. Josh Taylor, a fantastic guy, a fantastic fighter. Jack Cattrall, exactly the same. Cattrall maybe just has the style over Josh Taylor, but Josh wants the trilogy. Jack, does he want the world titles, or does he want the trilogy? What do you want to see, Mitchell Smith?
I don't know if I'm interested in a number 3. Do you know why? Because styles, they didn't gel the whole time. There was a lot of I'm not going to say cuddling, but there was a lot of scrappy work being put in. There weren't loads of clean shots being done, and I just kind of feel like, for me as a fight fan, us 2-0 Cattrall for me. I don't, Josh doesn't have world titles. I'm saying also from a business point of view, he doesn't hold world titles.
So you're saying job done.
I've beaten him twice. I've beaten him twice. And I know I'm not interested in it. If I was Cattrall, I'd go chasing world titles.
And where does it leave Josh if that happens?
He looked old the other day. I'm not saying he's finished, but his face looked like he was aging. And again, I don't know how much. Only he knows that. You know, he moved from where he was, Ben Davidson, over to. Is it Joe McNally?
Joe McNally.
Yeah, which is a good move. I like Joe McNally as a coach. Fantastic. Got good got a good head on him around boxing.
He's been brilliant, Josh Taylor, hasn't he?
Yeah,
At the pinnacle.
And I just don't know how much youth he still has in him. He can still fight, no doubt about it. I just don't know how much youth he still has in him to be able to want to push on to them big things again, because he knows he's going to have to drop in level now, or he's going to have to take either, in my opinion, he's either going to have to drop in level, or he's going to have to take a kid that's on his way up, you know, a little bit young, a little bit hungry. Maybe a sort of position that I'm going to have to fill eventually, like just near British. But I'm saying, obviously, where he is, he might have to jump in with somebody that's close to world level, somebody that are looking to, let's get a good name on our card, because that's what happens in boxing. So if he wants to fight again, I think he's going to have a tough task in front of him to step up, to get himself back there. Ultimately, has he completed boxing and just wants to if he doesn't get number 3, to put it right, is it like I kind of completed boxing, man? I'm you know what I mean? I was undisputed champion at, like, well, was he? So kind of does he really need to? But you know, we're all fighters, and whilst he still can, he probably still will. But I kind of just question what it's worth.
I love the fact that you're so definitive on it. Cattrall twice. Let's move on. I think Cattrall twice, but I'd like to see a third fight. I thought that second fight was really, really good. It was better than the first. They can dance again, and we love rivalries and we love trilogies. So let's wait and see. Chev Clark, win for him. I don't think he was at his very best, but he got the job done. Also, Paddy Donovan beating Lewis Ritson. So a couple of good results on the card for those guys, Mitchell, as well.
Yeah, Chev Clark looks good at what he's doing. I don't think it was his best performance the other day. But then again...
Great division, isn't it, as well?
Great division. He was in with a good fighter in front of him, although what Matey Boy done to him beforehand is correct. Yeah, but that you can't judge that on that. You know what I mean? He was in with World Opera. He got caught early doors. He got chinned, end of story. But Chev was in with decent operator and he done okay, mate. He done okay. As learning fights.
Good fighter, Chev Clark.
Yes.
There's so many of them.
And it was a good fight. To beat Zora at that time of his career was a good stepping stone. I think he'll move on. I think he'll learn a lot from it. And he'll move on.
Isaac Chamberlain, Vidal Riley. You've got Jordan Thompson. Of course, Riakporhe and Billum Smith meet June 15th at Selhurst
Yeah,
Park.
there's a few around there, isn't there?
Isn't it good?
It's exciting.
It's really, really good.
It's exciting for a British cruiserweight, for sure.
Fantastic. Paddy Donovan, you like him?
Yes, I like what I see.
Yeah.
Andy Lee, coach, if I'm right in thinking.
He is.
Andy Lee's got... I mean, I was around Andy for a long time in my career, in the middle of it. And a lot of what I learned is through Adam
Great guy, Andy Lee.
So, I've got huge hope in Paddy Donovan doing well just because of what he's got in his corner.
I like what GBM. We've got Kieran Malloy and Tiernan Bradley. Kieran Malloy and Paddy Donovan out of that rivalry as amateurs. I'd love to see them go at it again as pros. Well done, Paddy. Well done, Chev. Well done, Jack Cattrall. We move on to this week. Saudi Arabia, again, 2 weeks on from Usyk Fury, and a very, very different sort of feel to this one. Yes, we've got Dimitri Bivol, meant to be against Batebiev. That doesn't happen. Our Bivol still fights. But the main point of this week is the rivalry. We talked about Cattrall and Taylor. What about the promoters' rivalry? Eddie Hearn and Frank Warren. Now, I worked with Frank Warren for many, many years, especially in the early part of my career. Then Eddie Hearn for a decade or so. No love lost. They didn't want to see each other. The words they had for each other in private, I won't repeat on the Voice of Boxing, but let me tell you, they didn't want to come together. And look what's happened. Turki Al-Sheikh and together with George Warren, I think, and Spencer Brown and a few others, Frank Smith, they get them all together. Frank and Eddie suddenly spend time together. They're working together in tandem under the umbrella, which Turki and Dr. Rakan have done and made Saudi the place to be. Big fights being made. Absolutely fantastic. The epicenter at the moment of world boxing, and it is the rivalry. For those who don't know, it's 5 against 5. So it's Team Matchroom and Team Queensbury, or Team Queensbury and Team Matchroom. Frank Warren, Eddie Hearn, face to face. I don't even know where to start. Matchroom's captain, Deontay Wilder. Can we believe it? Deontay Wilder and Eddie Hearn and Shelley Finkel and Deontay and all of that and AJ and that. No way. How could Deontay Wilder be a Matchroom captain? Boxing is so unpredictable, so utterly crazy, but he is. Deontay Wilder leads the Matchroom team. Hamza Shiraz leads Frank Warren's Queensberry team. Where do we start? Do we start with the big one, with Wilder and Zhang, or is it the big one? What about Hrgovic and Dubois? Mitchell, 5 great fights. Go for it.
Unbelievable. I mean, firstly, congratulations to Eddie and Frank for sitting down and actually making it work. Whether it was your man in Saudi that has made that happen, who knows? Money talks. I think boxing needed it, you know, with this misfits coming in, and I'm not a fan, and I'm not, you know, if anything, I'm a fan. I think bringing any boxing to telly is great because it means that kids are going to get in the gym. But
different entertainment.
Exactly. But
more
I think
eyeballs on it.
Yeah, but I think professional boxing needed a bit of spark, a bit of between the two promoters instead of just, oh yeah, he's great on that show and he's on that great on that show, but they'll never fight just because the promoters will never meet. And it's unfortunate because where they should probably meet at British level, they then won't. Then they'll wait until they get to that level. But this kid might not get there, and it makes it messy. So the fact that they can bring them together, it means, you know, anybody that watches boxing is now going to get money, you know, value for their money. And this card is unbelievable. There's you know, they're all 50-50 fights in my opinion.
It's great, isn't it? All on one night.
You can have an argument for who wins each fight and how. So, you know, so much talent on one show.
Let's run through them quickly. Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang. Well, both heavyweights who have been part of the Magic Mix, the Magic Saudi Mix. Deontay Wilder upset by Joseph Parker, so with it all to prove. And Zhilei Zhang upset by Joseph Parker too, in a strange one where Zhang seemed to be in control and sort of went to sleep, and odd, but a great fight. And another, you could just pick any of these heavyweights out, can't you? Put them together.
Yeah, I mean,
these two, it's a great match.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of power.
Exactly, a lot of power. What do I think?
And remember that the captain gets double points, and Deontay
I've
Wilder
got an
is
argument
captain
for
of
both,
Matchroom.
though, Adam.
Okay.
You know, obviously, Zhang lost to Parker, but outboxed Joyce relatively easy. If I'm a betting man, I'm probably gonna go Wilder knockout.
Okay. And that gives extra points for the knockout as well.
It does.
Wilder knockout. Okay.
It does, but then I can also see Zhang outboxing him, and maybe, you know, the problem with it is if Wilder is gun.
Don't get splinters, Mitchell. Come on.
I'm going Wilder. I'm going Wilder knockout. I'm going Wilder knockout.
You're going Wilder knockout against Zhilei Zhang.
I am, yeah.
One up for Matchroom. Obviously, that's later on the bill. Let's switch them around a bit. I don't know quite the order yet, but let's go with Ray Ford and Nick Ball. I really like this fight. WBA featherweight champion Ray Ford, and Raymond Ford was clinging on, wasn't he? Clinging on, but he got that world title. Brian Peters' guy, really classy, clever. Nick Ball should have won that, shouldn't he? Last time out in Saudi,
he was definitely
a fantastic performance.
Definitely a winner. Unfortunate on that one. I'm going Ball knockout on this.
Ball knockout.
And I'll tell you why. I think he's. For the style that Ford brings, I think Ball will be far too spiteful and aggressive.
But he's classy, he's clever, he's cute,
Ray
Ford.
Yeah, he is. But I just think he'll just be Ball will be a little bit too spiteful. I think he'll get him. I think he'll get to him.
He's so aggressive, isn't he?
Very
he's clever
aggressive.
with it too.
And clean. Yeah, like I was saying, very clean when he punches. He's not too rough and ragged. Although he comes and he gets on top of you, you know, he does land clean punches, and I think he'll find one. I think
he struggled with the reach last time out, but
still got there. Still got there, didn't he? Without that,
it's not just determination. There's a lot of quality with Nick Ball.
Yeah. There's education behind the pressure.
So you're going with Ball.
I am.
So that's one for Team Queensberry. Okay, let's look at Willie Hutchinson and Craig Richards. I think that slipped under the radar. I think that's a good fight.
I do think it's a good fight. I'm just going to give you the result. I think Craig Richards will beat Hutchinson on this one. I'll tell you why. I just think he's a little bit more experienced. He's been in with slightly better class. And I just think he might have a few.
I'm writing these down so that we know where Mitchell's gone. We know exactly where you're going.
Okay, I think he'll have a little bit.
Craig Richards?
Yeah, I think he'll have a little bit. I think he'll be too clever. I have a little bit too much experience for him. I think Hutchinson can be a little bit reckless at times, and I think that might, when you get to that level, that will make a difference.
Playing to Richards' hands.
A little bit. That's my opinion, yeah.
Points?
Points.
Richards points. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Let's move to the very interesting fight between the captain of Queensberry, Hamza Shiraz. I think he's a wonderful fighter, Shiraz. I think he's a world champion in waiting. But Team Matchroom won't think that. Well, maybe they do. But Austin Ammo Williams, class fighter, really, really good as well. I think that's a great matchup.
Yeah, well, look,
Battle of the Unbeatens.
Yeah, and this is the one that I'm probably looking forward to the most because we have previous with both fighters. My brother Jez obviously was a pro, and Hamza Shiraz unfortunately knocked my brother out. Fantastic fighter.
He is.
Hamza Shiraz has beaten and done everything.
Williams' performance.
He's done everything based on what's put in front of him. I also think he's got another level. I think we haven't quite seen it yet.
What do you think of Ammo Williams?
I do. Well, Jez was meant to fight him as well.
Was he?
Jez was supposed to fight him, but something didn't happen. I think the weight might have been too tight and it didn't thingy. But
it'd be interesting if he'd sort of.
It was on the card, so it would have been nice to have seen both sides. But again, I remember when we was in camp, because Jez was in camp for about 3 or 4 weeks when we found out about the Ammo Williams fight. So we was in camp and we was watching and we was looking about what we might be able to, find a dent in or chink in his armour. One
brothers in arms trying to.
Yeah, of course. That's what you do, doesn't it? That's how you do. But one thing that I would say is I haven't really seen Shiraz under pressure yet, and I think that's because he's a class above everyone. Williams has been troubled. I've seen him troubled over watching him fight, and I don't know if Hamza Shiraz will just be a little bit too big and a little bit too sharp, and might just be that little bit too much for him.
He's talented, Williams, but I wonder if the momentum is with Shiraz.
Yeah, he's been a little bit. Yeah, and
I think the confidence is really starting to flow.
You can see that in Shiraz. You can see that in his performances when he's in the ring. Even when he was in with my brother, if you watch the fight when he knocked my brother Jez out, he was still almost a boy. You look at him now when he boxed, when he beat Williams, he was walking around that ring with chest. He knew, I'm the man. Do you know what I mean? He knew it. He could feel it. He's starting to fill into the weight. He's starting to hit hard. He's very, very sharp. He moved over to America where he's now dedicating. He's got no friends around him from back home that will pull him down. Do you know what I mean? He's done it right, and I really wish him the best of luck.
And Hamza Shiraz, a young boxer of the year as well from the prestigious
I hope
British
it don't
Riders
jinx him.
Club. Don't jinx him. Mitchell Smith as well. They share that accolade. So Hamza Shiraz by knockout or on
I'm
points?
going to go stoppage.
Okay, Shiraz.
Yeah, I'm going to go chins him.
Shiraz chins him. Okay, so you've got Nick Ball, you've got Hamza Shiraz, you've got Wilder and Richards.
I do like a knockout, though,
It's 2-2. It's 2-2 in the old. Okay, well you've got 2 knockouts on the Warren side, but you've got Wilder, who's the captain, but Shiraz is the captain. So listen, we'll go for a 2-2 at the moment in terms of fights, and we'll leave it on the big one. In many ways, because it's a really interesting fight. These two have sparred before. Daniel Dubois from just down the road. He trains near here in Finchley. But Daniel Dubois has got a big, big man in front of him in Filip Hrgovic. Hrgovic seen as the next Klitschko. Is he that good? Zhilei Zhang slightly troubled him and asked him many, many questions when they met in Jeddah. Went a bit of a walkabout, didn't he, at times in that fight? Filip Hrgovic had I think a loss in the family before that, so wasn't perfect going into it against Zhilei Zhang. Hrgovic can really bang. He can really punch. He's got the reach. He's with Matchroom. Dubois with Team Queensbury, and they really fancy their man, Daniel Dubois, who had a great performance, didn't he, out in Saudi against Jarrell Big Baby Miller. Yeah. Big Baby was coming at him, all his weight, but Dubois dealt with it. I think Turki Al-Ashik really liked Daniel Dubois, and we're thinking that if Dubois beats Hrgovic, it could be AJ and Dubois at Wembley in September. What are we feeling, Mitchell, on this
I'd love to see it. I really would. I'd love to see Dubois come through. I think he's done himself well for the attributes he has. I think he's also improved under Don Charles, and I think they're pushing him in the right direction.
Almost got Usyk, didn't he?
Yeah,
I mean, it was a good performance. Looking back at
good
that
body
now.
shot from my opinion. I know it was he say she say, but it was I just don't know if he might just be a little bit too robotic for Hrgovic. I just don't know if he might just be a little bit too tricky, a little bit too experience. The problem with Dubois is he's quite robotic, and although Don has improved him as a fighter, I don't think that you're gonna get that little bit of swag that you might need. Just movement, just movement. I just think he struggles to get around the ring. He's quite ploddy. And when he gets to his opponents, they're not a flurry of shots. Obviously, heavyweights never really are, but I don't know. I just think that Hrgovic might just be a little bit too slippery for him.
I think it's a really good stylistic clash, and I did say they sparred before. Hrgovic said he made light work of Dubois. Dubois said that's light years away. This is much more different now.
It's got the makings for a great fight. I think it's got the makings for a great
Dubois
fight.
got something bit between his teeth.
Yeah.
He's there with Don Charles,
Yeah.
and there's some real belief now.
And also obviously him coming up short to Joyce, he knows what that feels like.
Yep.
And he knows how close he is to getting one of the big boys. And hopefully he can come through it. I'm gonna go Hrgovic. I'm gonna go Hrgovic, yeah.
By
points.
Hrgovic points. Okay.
Yeah.
So, if that works out, it's Team Matchroom just about for you.
I hope not, but
Who do you want to win?
I want Dubois to win.
No, who do you want to win? Queensbury or Matchroom?
Frank Warren, he's my man. Frank Warren looked after me, so
Frank Warren looked after
correct.
you. And George Warren, what a great addition he is today.
Yes,
People
sir.
don't talk about him because he's in the background.
George is a good lad as well.
guy,
And he's
isn't
one
he?
of the honest geezers in boxing. And
Good
I like
guy.
him, yeah.
Frank Smith with Eddie Hearn. See,
Yeah.
people don't talk about who's behind them.
Yeah,
Eddie
yeah.
and Frank get all of this, the limelight, the promotional reels, all the attention. George just likes the quiet bit, doesn't he?
he
And
does.
Frank, but they do everything behind the scenes. Trust me on that. That's a 5v5. You've gone for Matchroom just slightly to edge that. Maybe the Hrgovic Dubois one is crucial. Let's just talk about Dimitri Bivol. We were going to get Batebiev. We've got Malik Sinad instead, unbeaten. Maybe not in Bivol's class. We wanted to see that. Undisputed at light heavyweight, just like we had at heavyweight. We'll have to wait for that, unfortunately, but always a pleasure to watch Dimitri Bivol. And how do you think he'll do?
I think he'll come through the fight easy enough. I trained with Malik back in 2019, I think. 2019, 2020. We were both
Fight?
Can fight, strong, good workhorse, trains hard in the gym.
Yep.
He won't cut corners. I know that for a fact. And he's an aggressive, spiteful fighter, and he will definitely try his hardest. He's not there to make the numbers up. I'm almost certain of it. Didn't get to know him huge amounts, but what I'm telling you from what I see is he won't go there to make the numbers up. It's just not his personality. And he'll have a go, but I just think that experience will play a part. Bivol is not probably pound for pound, one of the pound for pound kings for a reason. He's there for a reason. And he's beat the best in Canelo, and I just can't see him making a slip up. I think he'll be a professional performance. A bit like a Lyndon Arthur performance,
Exactly the word I was going to use for the consummate professional, and he's elite, isn't he, Dimitri Bivol, in terms of skill set and the way he commands a ring. He's quality. Maybe not the biggest puncher, which may have to go long again, but he's just a joy to watch as a purist, isn't he?
Yes, he is. His fundamentals of boxing are done correct, and that's steadied him in the right way as a professional, and that's why he's reaping the rewards.
Can't wait for the weekend. Let's just look ahead. We've got Savannah Marshall going into MMA June the 8th. June the 15th brings us Riakporhe and Billam Smith. It just continues to happen. June 29th, GBM are back in Coventry. Big show there. There's so much that's been announced in July. We've got Chisora and Joyce to look forward to. We've got over there, of course, on the Tyson Jake Paul night, we've got Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano. It's just brilliant, isn't it, boxing at the moment? And the Saudis have got a huge show in America in August and September. We're talking Wembley, the rematch of Usyk and Fury looking like the back end of the year. It's non-stop. And it's fantastic. As you said, there's misfits in there. There's other ways of entertainment. And it's bringing the spotlight, the sport of boxing into the casual audience, and that's key. Because we could sit here and talk boxing all night, but it's for those out there, the people on the streets.
And also, the more that there is on screen and the more that there is happening in boxing means that you're giving more kids opportunity to get in and get it done. Like, if it was so hard to be done, right? Listen, going pro and going amateur is tough, but if it was almost impossible to do, then you wouldn't have people doing it. The fact that we welcome in kids, welcoming him into the gym.
You got there.
We got there in the end. No, but the fact that we're welcoming him into the gym, and there are a lot on boxing, and it's interesting. It's there's a lot of publicity around boxing. I just think it's fantastic, and any kid that's out there that hasn't found the path on, and the reason why I wanted to add this in is because I'm looking after a kid at the moment that hasn't quite got a path in life. He's 16. He doesn't really know where he wants to go, which is okay. You're 16, mum and dad don't know what to tell you. You don't really know what to go. What should I do? I'll go down the boxing gym. What are you going to find from there? For starters, you're going to find consistency. You're going to find a routine to life. You know, understand? Now, all of a sudden, his self-esteem's going to start growing because he's now doing something with his life. Now he wants to start thinking, right, money, where everyone wants money, right, what can I do for money? Chats around the gym. Why don't you go and work for him?
Structure, dedication, getting off your phone, getting off the streets, all of those things.
It grows kids because in boxing gyms, there are nothing but nice people. Everyone wants well for you.
Yep.
And the more we have of boxing going on is better for our youth because everything nowadays is PlayStation, phones, bad foods.
Yep.
Get in the gym, find some routine, find some consistency, and I'm almost certain that your life will become better.
You've just turned me right back. The clock turned right back to Paul Trussy Trusker. Remember him from Middlesbrough? Sitting on the ring apron after his fights going, don't do drugs, do boxing, do ballet, do anything that keeps you in a gym or in a place of structure, of passion, of something that will bring you on and make you feel good about
100%,
yourself
100%.
and keep yourself out
because
of trouble.
The young kids, they don't understand it. Everything's just all gang and hard, and I've got to be a gangster in it. Get yourself in a gym, get some good friends around you. Find the goal that you want to achieve, whether that having your first contest. Because from the moment you walk into the gym to the moment you have your first contest, you're looking at probably about 6 months. Well, in that 6 months, I already know what I've done in 6 months. How much a young person can grow in that short amount of time. I mean, I've seen it with this kid I'm talking about recently over the past 3 weeks. So you're talking about 6 months of consistently working hard. Even encouraging them to do better in life. Why are you waking up at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, son? Get up at 9 o'clock. Just because you don't have college, get up. You know, this is going to make you a better athlete, son. All of a sudden, you're building him over 6 months to be a better person. And it's, you know, all I'm saying is boxing is fantastic for this sort of stuff. And coaches and people that are in boxing now need to advise kids at young ages to be making the right decisions and setting goals for young kids to hit because they need routine. Kids need routine.
Dave Colwell sat in that seat last week. Similar sort of advice. Listen, Mitchell Smith, a man who's been through it all. I tell you what, when I sat next to him when he was 22, a very, very different character. I think it's incredible.
My hair weren't receding as much.
I think it's incredible what you're saying. I think to give back, I think you're going to be a fabulous coach, Mitchell. I really do.
That.
I think that's going to be the inspiration that you can give, having on the rainy days, in the difficult times, you've got through them, you've beaten that, you've come back,
sir.
You look healthy, you look well, you're settled in life, and you've
sir.
still got that ambition that you don't want all that great boxing talent just to go to the wayside. You've got that little thing in you, and I really, really wish you the best of luck with it.
Thank you very much. Listen, firstly, I appreciate you having me on. I've had a fantastic time. I've had a good conversation about boxing with somebody that knows boxing inside out, which is obviously it always helps. I can go and have podcasts here, there, and everywhere and talk boxing, but when you're actually talking with somebody that knows what they're talking about, it becomes passionate. And I enjoyed that. So thank you for having me on.
It's an absolute pleasure. What are we looking at? 2-3 fights this year, maybe, and then 2025 for one?
3 fights this year. Probably 1 or 2 early 2025, and then see what happens, see what opens up. But the most important thing for me right now is stay consistent, stay dedicated, stay disciplined, and just achieve it. Grow some momentum and enjoy my career.
Absolutely lovely seeing Mitchell Smith looking so well, talking brilliantly, and I hope you've really enjoyed The Voice of Boxing episode 3 in association with a fantastic Loungers TV platform, and we will be back post-Saudi, post the 5v5 with all the reflection on Frank and Eddie. Who's going to win? Who's going to have the bragging rights? Will it be a series that follow? I mean, will they be able to get back on the plane, the loser? Who knows? We will be back with The Voice of Boxing. But Mitchell, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
It's been an absolute pleasure. And I've been really inspired. And I hope you have as well. The Voice of Boxing, episode 3, done in the history books.